Good morning. Welcome to Sorting Myself Out. I am just starting with some music. Freestyle Fridays, having some fun. All right, I'm going to pull up the chat. Here we go. Here I am. Okay, welcome everyone. How you doing? Good morning. Get your coffee. All right. No more music. What's up, Ape? What's up, Grizz? About time, I know. I don't know what time these are going to be because just the nature of my schedule. So I guess we're calling this Freestyle Fridays. So that either means that the style is going to be free or I'm actually going to try to do a freestyle. I don't know which one yet. So we'll find out. What do y'all want to talk about today? I was thinking we could watch a video together. There's this one video about True Detective. You know Russ Cole from True Detective Season 1 and his philosophy on pessimism. I thought we could watch that video. Or we could do something else. What do y'all want to do today? I've got a little bit of time, and then I will have to part ways with y'all. So let's have some fun while we can. It's Friday. We got to have fun. It's Friday. So, you know what I mean? So let's see here. I've got, let's see. Yeah, we should watch this video together. True Detective. Sorry, hold on. Season 1. Pessimism. Found it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I hope you can hear it okay. If you can't, if something's wrong with my audio while I'm sharing this, please just write it in the chat. So I got to adjust this microphone so it picks up. And I got to... Hold on. Almost there, folks. Share my screen. I'll pull up the chat on my phone so I can see what y'all are saying. Ape Scratch says, I'm checking in. Got a lot to do. Just passing by. Fasting since yesterday. I'll watch a while. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Let's see here. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Okay.
Look, I'd consider myself a realist, all right? But in philosophical terms, I'm what's called a pessimist.
Okay, what's that mean?
It means I'm bad at parties. I think human consciousness is a tragic misstep in evolution. We became too self-aware. Nature created an aspect of nature separate from itself. We are creatures that should not exist by natural law.
That sounds god fucking awful, Russ.
We are.
Okay, that's the first part. I think that part's fascinating. He said he views viewing humans as if it's like some sort of mistake from nature. And you can see this in a lot of people who are deeply intellectually talented, but also nihilistic. They have a tendency to spin a web of hatred and resentment towards existence. And obviously Russ is quite good at that. Griswold Grimm says he clearly didn't read the ancient Sumerian texts. Well, what would he have found if he did? That's an interesting comment. What do you think he would have found? All right, so let's roll it.
There are things that labor under the illusion of having a self, this accretion of sensory experience and feeling. Programmed with total assurance that we are each somebody, when in fact everybody's nobody. The honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming, stop reproducing, walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
So, what's the point of getting out of bed in the morning?
I tell myself I bear witness. The real answer is that it's obviously my programming.
That is just the most intense determinism that you can think of. You know, like I know that this is all bullshit, but I still do it anyway because it's my programming. So he's kind of doing this circular reasoning where I do it because I have to do it. I have no other choice but to do it. And so he's trapping himself in his own paradigm. And we have the ability to do that to ourselves with our minds, which is, you know, pretty intense. You could they could have created a scene with a totally different philosophy of someone who believes in living a positive life. And it could have been just as convincing because they would have been spinning a different web of fate. But Russ Cole, and this is a great TV series. If you haven't watched season 1 of True Detective, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic TV. But man, yeah, he's really tenaciously negative, and it's part of what makes the show so great. Also, I hope I'm not spoiling it too much for you if you haven't seen it, but it's been out for years, so. Spartacus says, this is why Jordan Peterson wants to be a embodied man, not an intellectual. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yep. You nailed it. Yeah. He does say that he doesn't really want to consider himself as an intellectual. And I think it's for that reason. Griswold Grimm says he's playing a detective who's seen things. Yeah, absolutely. And one warning about this TV show, if you do end up watching it, I think it's an HBO series. It's pretty gruesome. So if you have a kind of a sensitive stomach when it comes to TV, I would steer you away from it. But if you can handle kind of, you know, serial killer-esque content, then go for it. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Awesome. Ape Scratch says just spoil it. Okay, we're gonna keep watching it then.
And I like the Constitution for suicide. Got a bad taste in my mouth out here.
Did you hear he just said I lack the Constitution for suicide? So I know I should kill myself, but I can't kill myself because my determinism in my programming it makes it so I don't want to kill myself. So there you go with the determinism right there.
Aluminum, ash. See, we all got what I call a life trap. The gene deep certainty that things will be different, that you'll move to another city and meet the people that'll be the friends for the rest of your life, that you'll fall in love and be fulfilled, looking fulfillment and closure. Where the fuck those two fucking empty jars to hold this shitstorm? Like nothing's ever fulfilled until the very end. And closure. No, nothing is ever over. The ontological fallacy of expecting a light at the end of the tunnel. Well, that's what the preacher sells. Same as a shrink. See, the preacher, he encourages your capacity for illusion. Then he tells you it's a fucking virtue. Well, there's a buck to be had doing that.
Damn. Okay. Can we just get this out of the way? Matthew McConaughey's. I didn't like Matthew McConaughey before I watched this series. He fucking won me over. He could do anything he wants for the rest of his life. He can do the shittiest roles. He can just be an asshole to everybody because this acting is insane. It's amazing. It's amazing. But back to his philosophy on pessimism. Yeah, so he's basically trashing the whole idea of selling the light at the end of the tunnel. So even like thinking of someone like Peterson or a preacher or whatever, somebody who is trying to motivate people towards living a good life, he's basically saying these people are con men. They're conning you to believe that something is just around the corner for you, when in reality you're never getting out of this trap, this life trap that you're in. Oh shit. Google Hangouts just sent me a notification. This Hangout on air will end if you continue broadcasting content you aren't authorized to use. Well, it's on YouTube. Some other dude just posted it, and I'm commenting on it, so it should be under fair use. So what the hell are you talking about, YouTube? Oh, come on. Ruin my fun. I was having a lot of fun listening to that with people. Jeez. All right, I'm going to fix my microphone since YouTube's ruining everyone's weeks, I guess. They decided, let's just ruin everyone's week. Let's just crash everyone's party on YouTube. They've already ruined plenty of other people's weeks, as you probably know. So they figured, let's ruin Ryan's too. He's just a small little YouTuber. He's got 11 people watching. Let's just fuck his day up. Assholes. What the really? Like, you're gonna censor that, YouTube? You're gonna censor me commenting on something under fair use? Come on, fix your algorithm. That's bullshit. That really pisses me off. Sorry, everyone. I don't mean to be so rude, but that pissed me off. Yeah, I know. Dust to Dust says the algorithm did that. I know, but like, what the hell? I should be able to do that. Gosh, they're so tight. Okay, I'm going to read some comments. Good morning, James. We're having coffee. Get your coffee. Okay, I am not ashamed of drinking strong coffee. I got a double shot of espresso in this bad boy. Judge me all you want. It's what I like. Okay, I'm going to read some comments. Grizz, people trolled Andrew into a private life. That's rude. Okay, so I'm going to leave the link to this True Detective thing after the video. I'll pop it in the description so you can go watch it. I think it's a very good clip. One of the best acting performances, and it's an important moment in the history of television, as well as in understanding the philosophy of pessimism. And I wanted to watch it so we could start to poke some holes in it, but I also wanted to show you how brilliant it is. I mean, it's a brilliant philosophy. You cannot. That's why even they say, the intellect is kind of akin to Satan in some places, because it falls in love with its own ability to reason. And that's a classic archetypal thing. So you can reason your way into hell very easily, very easily. And that's what makes it such a brilliant piece of art that True Detective did in season 1. I have heard that season 2 and 3 kind of crashed and burned. I don't know. I didn't watch it after McConaughey left, along with his partner, who's also a great actor. I forget his name off the top of my head. Shoot. But after they left, I wasn't as interested because the performance was so strong. I was like, they're never going to top that. They're never going to top that. Are you kidding me? Okay. Bruce is here. Great to see you, Bruce. It looks like you changed your profile picture. Are you working again this morning? Last time you were setting up a gas line in someone's house. Okay, let's get these comments read. Michael says, that was an awesome scene and good incentive to watch. I'm in. And the long-haired dude looks like a twisted acid head. Oh my God, it's such a good show. You have to go watch it. Woody Harrelson, that's right. His name's Woody Harrelson, the other guy. Ape Scratch says live censor fucking assholes. Yeah, that was kind of a dick move on YouTube's part. I mean, they let me post that Lord of the Rings video the other day, and I was commenting on that the whole time. Although they did claim it for copyright, but this channel is not monetized, so it doesn't fucking matter. And you know why it's not monetized? There's a couple reasons why we're not monetizing. One, I don't want to have Burger King ads and bullshit on my channel right now. I mean, we might change our mind someday. And the other reason is I don't want to rely on something that is just going to be pulled from under me. And there's another reason. I don't want you guys to have to watch those bullshit ads. So that's enough reasons for me. I'd rather find a different way to make money with doing this. And I'm not sure how yet, but I'll figure it out. Okay. Griswold Grim says Ryan meets the dystopian censorship round 3. Yeah, it is dystopian. That's for damn sure. And this is not, like I told you all yesterday, I'm not political. I don't have any public political opinions. Yeah, of course I have my personal opinions, but this channel has no political edge to it whatsoever. So when I get upset about something, it's actually like, what the fuck? Because I try to keep my opinions to myself, but the censorship thing is a little over the top. Okay. Griswold Grim says, you have to realize this is YouTube's channel. You're the free labor. Yes, I am the free labor. I am just slaving away so that YouTube can make billions. And they love it. They love it. It's a little bit ridiculous, to be honest, but they do give me a platform. So while it is, it can be a bit oppressive, quote unquote, I'm also in my fucking basement doing a live stream. So life isn't that, and I'm drinking a coffee from down the street. My fridge is full of food. I've got 2 dogs, a beautiful girlfriend, 2 roommates, and a vehicle in my driveway. So I wouldn't consider myself a slave, although I could see it. I could see how people would think that. James says, good morning. Oh, yeah. Good morning, James. I think I read that. Griswold Grim says, people trolled Andrew into a private life. I don't know if I'd go that far, Grizz. I think there's a lot of reasons Andrew went private. I mean, maybe the trolling had an effect on him for sure, but I think that there was a lot. No judgment, but that's a lot, James says. Too much for me. What are you talking about, James? Are you talking about the clip that I showed? Or are you talking about something that someone wrote or something I said? I hope I didn't offend you. Okay, so Griswold Grim says, I'll stand in for pessimism if you don't want to violate people's copyright of their hard work. Well, the thing is, I'm not violating anybody's copyright. I'm showing a clip of True. For everyone just joining, we were showing a clip of True Detective, Season 1, Russ Cole's Philosophy of Pessimism. I'd roll it for 30 seconds to a minute. I'd pause it and make a comment. I'm fairly certain that's under fair use, but YouTube sent me an algorithmic notification to Google Hangouts saying that I had to stop because they will stop the stream if I don't. So I'm not screwing around with that because then I could get my live streaming privileges revoked, and I just can't afford to do that. But Grizz, if you want to give me some pessimistic comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. Dusty says, Luther called wisdom the devil's whore, LOL. That's reason. Oh, wow. That's fascinating. I didn't know that. Bruce says, you got it. New construction gas fitting. That's awesome, Bruce. It's cool to think of you doing your work, installing something into someone's home while I'm doing a live stream. That makes my day. I'm at least helping you pass the time. That makes me very happy to hear. So thank you for being here, and good luck with your work today. Abe Scratch says, I'll check out True Detective. Thanks, Ryan. No politics for me. Only polite tricks. Oh, James says the coffee's too much for you. Oh, yeah. I drink strong coffee. You guys have to remember, I am a recovering alcoholic. I started drinking when I was 12. I have alcoholism all in my genetics, all in my family. I've been sober for 8.5 years. But I'm much like my mentor, Dr. Strachan, who helps me learn psychology, in that anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So yes, I have a double shot of espresso in my coffee. And yes, I'm working on cutting down on coffee. It is one of my, what do you call it? It's a crutch. Something I'm fairly dependent on it. If I didn't have coffee, let's just say probably a bad day. But it's just one of those things. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that I use that gets me through. So, okay, so more comments here, and thank you everyone who's currently watching. It looks like it says on my screen that there's 16 people here. I am honored to provide you with content, and I am honored that you're here. So thank you for joining me. And yes, it says freestyle Fridays. So that's just because the style I'm doing is free. I wasn't sure if I was going to do any actual like rhyming, although I might get to that point because I'm feeling pretty jazzy today. Although you might never want to see me again if I try to rhyme in front of you. That would be really embarrassing. Okay, so comments. Sorry, this just getting distracted here. Michael's here. Grizz, that's awesome. He says, McLaurin's here. Hey, McLaurin. McLaurin says, LOL, copyright is so ridiculous these days. I absolutely agree. I think it's absurd. It's absurd. But whatever. It is what it is. Potato says, you've been a bad boy, Ryan, although you misspelled boy and you wrote goy. But I'll give you some graces here. So, yeah, I'll not read the rest of the comment because I don't feel like it. And then good to see you, Potato. Bruce says, thanks, man. Keep up the good work. Michael says, coffee equals excellent antioxidants. I'd snort it if I could. Yes. And Potato says, that's not misspelling. So I guess goy is actually something that means something, but I have no idea what it is. Okay. Why is YouTube keeps moderating your comments, Potato, but you said you look like you're about to bust some sick freestyle rhymes. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Potato. If I looked at a recorded history of all the comments that you've made since you've known me, I would say 3 months from now or before now, telling me I'm about to bust a sick freestyle rhyme is easily the nicest thing you've ever said to me. I'm flattered. That's very flattering. Okay, Griswold Grimm says, pessimism. Slavery evolved from whips and change to I owe myself to the company store, to you're not a slave, you're an employee, and you get to pick your owner or become one. Yes, or you could go learn some badass survival skills if you don't like the system. Learn how to make a fire, learn how to hunt, learn how to forage plants, learn how to make shelter, learn how to filter water, and go live naked in the wilderness. Make yourself some buckskin clothing, wear it around. You'd be free as a fucking mountain goat. So your fate's in your hands. You're participating in the system. In fact, at least in America that I know of, nobody is going to probably notice if you just walk out into the wilderness and build a log cabin. Now, the government might come after you if you're living off the grid. It's illegal to live off the grid in some states. But you could probably get away with it if you wanted to. And knowing YouTube, just listening to me say that, they're going to give me some shit. Ryan, they're probably going to send me another message. Stop talking about living off the grid. Otherwise, we're going to shut this down. It's too extreme. Okay, Dust to Dust says, goy is a Jewish slur for non-Jews. It means cow cattle. Wow. Well, I've never been called that before, so that's a first. Thank you for breaking the ice there. Spartacus says the same thing. It's anyone who's not Jewish. Okay, McLaurin, what's your thought on self-improvement and environment? When I hiked through the Appalachian Trail, I noticed people use it to escape their home problems, but then recreate those issues on the trail. Okay, here's the thing about nature that I think everybody should know, especially if you spend a lot of time outside of nature. Nature will just magnify your mind. So it's so quiet and pure that when you're out there, it will show you yourself. It's a mirror. That's the beauty of nature. That's why all the wise sages and gurus and seekers and philosophers, a lot of them spent quite a bit of time alone in nature, because nature is a reflection of your soul. So if you got some shit going on in there that you need to sort out, oh, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. It's going to hurt when you're outside in nature, because you know why? There's no phone, unless you bring a phone. There's no distraction. There's no city. There's no a bunch of people. It's just you and Mama Earth. And you better damn well have your shit together. Otherwise, you're going to get a natural disaster in your mind. And that's the beauty of it, is it just brings up what's there. And if you don't have your shit together, like rarely any of us do, we always have shit going on. It's going to be difficult. Like I did a 4-day vision fast. Okay. You go out into nature with a group of people. There's people there. It's safe. It's protected. Something that you pay for in most cases. And you go sit on the land in your own private area. And you do for 4 days and 4 nights, or 3 days and 3 nights. And you just sit there. I've done that a few times in different variations, but the most recent time was the most intensified. And all your shit comes up. If you got problems in your relationship, if you have a hard time sitting still, if you're psychologically unbalanced in any way, nature's going to show that to you, and then you have the opportunity to work on it if you focus. So nature is a very powerful healer if you can use her correctly. But unfortunately, so many of us are so used to the constant distraction, having a phone, having constant stimulation, that we don't even get the chance to reflect and slow down and to access a point of wisdom within ourselves. It's very difficult for people who have spent so much time getting distracted to sit alone for a couple minutes, let alone 3 or 4 days. Okay. Thank you, McLaurin. That was a fantastic question. I know it's not quite what you were looking for, but I would say that nature is a magnifier rather than an escape. Now, if you have if you have a lot of responsibilities in the real world and you're just leaving all of them because you're afraid of them, that's a different story, of course. Okay, Spartacus Anon says, all this reminds me of transporting, quote unquote, choose life. Potato says, this living off the grid thing wouldn't work in densely populated Europe here. Are you sure? Are you sure, Potato? Because there's a lot of land in Europe. I mean, I've been to Europe. I went backpacking in Europe. There's a lot. I went to Berchtesgaden National Park in Germany. I've been to Switzerland. Okay. There's a lot of beautiful land. You could go live out there. I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I'm buying it. Ape Scratch, this is the best comment of the day so far. The woods is the shit. That's great. The woods is the shit. That's fantastic. Okay. McLaurin, seems like people that want change struggle to do so because their environment and its patterns suck them back into the abyss. Yes, absolutely, McLaurin. By the way, I do have to say, McLaurin, it's very nice to see you. It's been a while, and I'm really glad you're here. I notice when people pop back in when I haven't seen them in a while, so I just want to acknowledge that. It's great to have you. Yeah, so I think you're right to some extent that the environment that we're in can make change difficult, to the extent that the environment that we're in is more powerful than us as an individual. However, if we strengthen ourselves as individuals, we have the ability to impact our environment, right? So the thing is, if you don't change your environment will change you. So if you live in a house with a bunch of negative influences and you stay in that house for a long enough period of time, like let's say you have like 4 shitty roommates that all don't care about themselves or care about you, unless you have the power, then that is more likely to wear down on you after a while. So there is like very strong personalities can impact their environment. Very strong, like that's great men and women of history have done so, obviously. But it takes a tremendous amount of focus. That's why I think it's important for people to choose their environments carefully, because you don't want to fight an uphill battle, you know? There's been times when I had to just be like, I'm out of here, guys. I can't live in this situation. This is toxic. I'm out, you know? Okay. Ape Scratch says, keep it up, guys. Must return to duties. Excuse my English. I said ditties, not you. I'm Finn-born in Sweden. That's great. I'll watch the stream, Ryan. Do it, Ryan. Freestyle rhymes. Watch out for the watchers. Freedom is overrated. Woo! What a comment to end it on. All right, Ape Scratch. Thanks for being here. I appreciate your support, and have a great day. Dust to dust. Safe except the ticks. Yes, there are ticks, particularly in New England. Spartacus, have an amazing day. I know you're still waiting on an email for me. I'm sorry. I'm not the best with emails right now. I'll do my best to respond as soon as possible. I think Mercury still might be able to talk to you today, but let me just talk to him again and check. Otherwise, we'll reschedule it for either early next week or whenever we can, I promise. Okay. We got some good questions coming in. This is a fun stream. Friday mornings are fun, everyone. This is amazing. Okay, so Griswold just asked an awesome question. Potato says, I can picture Jordan Peterson alone in the woods crying like a little girl about postmodernism. I just read that just because, just to give you your graces, Potato. I gotcha. Griswold Grimm says, what's the most mystical experience you've ever had, Ryan? Okay. Wow, that's a really powerful question. Most mystical experience I've ever had. There's been quite a few. And so I won't share the most mystical because some things are so special that I don't want them to lose their power if I share them. But I'll share a couple things, at least one. Okay, there was a period in my life I was in treatment. I was in Tombstone, Arizona, on a boys' ranch in the middle of nowhere. Strict rules, great people, hard environment, pushed you, disciplined you, strict schedule, but we also had fun. It was difficult. It was fun. It was everything. It was painful. I was there for 14 months in that isolated environment. And there was even a guy who had been to jail there, and he was like, yeah, this place is the same thing as jail as far as your freedom goes. But I liked it. I got a lot out of it. It was hard. I didn't always want to be there. Most of the time I didn't want to be there, but I don't have any regrets. And I was meditating a lot because I had some time during my day. I was meditating 4 times a day. I read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Very powerful book. Highly recommended for beginners in meditation. I read a couple books by Thich Nhat Hanh. I started meditating fiercely and consistently. I started having these really interesting experiences where I was just like floating in the present moment. I started having lucid dreams. My experience just kept compounding on itself and becoming more and more lucid. It was like I was living in a dream world altogether. And then I started having these insane intuitions. Like, I don't know if you believe in intuitions, but I started having very strong intuitions, and they would get proved out. I'll give you one example. I was on the other side of the campus, or not the full other side, but I was like 100 yards away from this person. Dear friend of mine. His name was Alex. Still is Alex. All of a sudden, I'm just sitting there, and I'd been meditating a lot, so I've been used to listening to my inner voice. I hear an inner voice that says, something's wrong with Alex. Something's wrong with Alex. So, and I even like start walking towards the direction he's in. He comes out of another building crying. Just found out his parents were going to get divorced. Whew. I was like, holy shit. Like, what just happened? Because that voice just took over my body, and I moved directly towards him. Then he comes out of the building crying. There was no way I could have known. No way. Power of meditation, I guess, you know. For those of you who are skeptical, there's a lot of different cues in our environment that we're picking up on at all times. Our brains are processing 2 billion bits of information per second. 2 billion. I think it's between 2 and 10 or something. So I don't know how I knew that, but I picked up some information somehow. I don't know how. So, okay. I am going to read some more of the comments here. Thanks for asking that question, Grizz. CHG Longstone says, did Mercury go through that Shadowgate piece yet? Hoping to touch on that today. I sent him some of your work, including that Shadowgate piece, so I think he's going through it. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him. But we're really looking forward to talking to you. And yeah, fantastic. So yeah, we'll make sure I'll remind him. Potato says, I once did mushrooms and mescaline at the same time. It was quite mystical. McLaurin says, with Doc Holliday, ? You lost me there. I'm not sure. Bruce says, Jordan Peterson knows some shit. We don't. He may have a reason to be weeping in the woods. Genocide, perhaps, ? Griswold Grimm said, that's pretty intense. Dust to Dust says, I've had moments like that a lot. Bruce says, I have premonitions and intuitions all the time. Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, it's normal, you know, especially if you are in touch with your intuition. So I don't find it weird. That was just one example. I've had experiences with that over time, and I always try to at least talk to the skeptics if they're out there watching this channel, although I don't think there are very many spiritual skeptics watching this channel because we haven't got a lot of pushback anytime we've talked about something that's a little bit woo. So anyways, yeah, that's fantastic that you've had premonitions, Bruce, and Dust to Dust. And I'd love to hear your stories about that sometime. That's cool. McLaurin says Tombstone equals Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. Yes, yeah, okay, so now I know what you're talking about. Because we were actually living right next to the town where that movie was filmed, Tombstone. So, yeah. And, man, I have to say, I probably wouldn't be the same person if I hadn't been in that experience as a young man. A young child, really. I was only 14, 15, 16, 17. That was like, so I went to wilderness therapy twice. I got shipped off. Pulled out of my bed at the middle of the night by two big-ass dudes, put on plane, flew to wilderness therapy. I was in the wilderness for a while. Then I went to that treatment. Then I went to a halfway house. Then I went to some other thing. I don't want to bore you with all the details. Then I started college. So it's like I spent most of my adolescence away from home on the hero's journey, I guess. My own hero's journey. Not that I'm a hero, but, you know, the archetypal process that is the journey that we go through to redeem ourselves and hopefully others. So, yeah, I wouldn't be the same person if I hadn't done that. Griswold Grimm says, Tombstone movie. If you haven't seen When Doc Holliday Meets Johnny Ringo, is a stellar example of how two different people might live with pessimism. Oh, maybe we should play that movie on the channel, and we should just live stream that movie on the channel. Screw YouTube. I would love to have a movie night with everyone where we just live stream a movie. You know what? Mercury knows the owner of Trauma Films. He's friends, like good friends with Lloyd Kaufman. And Trauma Films has tons of movies. So, sorry, this thing fell down. So we might be able to actually get the copyright access to a whole film industry or a whole film company and play some movies here. I know Trauma is like, I don't know like what kind of films they do. I haven't seen any that I probably have, but I don't know them. So that's an interesting idea. Dust to Dust says, I was curious what you may have thought about the Ian McGilchrist say words limit meaning. Oh, that's an interesting thought. Let me respond to that, and then there's a couple other comments I'll read. Well, meaning is infinitely energetic, right? So it's like words are just an attempt to explain something. It's a stepping stone to the truth, but it's not the truth. It's the finger pointing to the moon, but it's not the moon. A word is a vehicle to get you somewhere. The word is not the meaning itself. The only reason the word tree has any meaning is because the word is a symbol or a signifier for something that we all see. But you would never say that the word tree is a tree. So I'm not sure if words limit meaning. I just think words point to meaning. But they limit, like they're not infinitely capable of meaning, like, right? Like they are suggestions for something. They're not the thing in of itself. The thing of it itself cannot be explained in words. Words are attempts to articulate something deeper. Communication is, a mixture between language and body language and energy and all sorts of different forms that we have no idea how they actually work. So words, I would just say words are one piece of the puzzle of communication, signifying meaning. But you would never claim that, like, the word, like, let's say you're a Christian, because I think you are. I'm not sure. But if you said the word Christ was more important than the actual Christ, then that would be kind of weird, right? You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say like the word is more important than the actual form. Like if Jesus Christ decided to change his name to something totally different, you wouldn't say like, well, now Jesus Christ as a being isn't as powerful. You would just have to adapt to a new word. Anyways, that's just my thought. I don't really know. Ian McGilchrist has been thinking about things for a long time, so I have no idea. He probably has a really deep reason why he thinks that. But yeah, I don't know if that's the answer that you'd agree with, but that's just my initial thoughts. Kirk B says, I could be your Huckleberry. I love that line. That's great. McLaurin says, I've got an ex where I had some strong life experiences that every so often pops into my thoughts. When that happens, I always seem to get random texts from her. Same happens with friends too. Yeah, synchronicity, man. Synchronicity. There's some things that just happen at such uncanny timing that it's hard to explain it with anything else but like, wow, there's something deeper going on in the universe that we don't understand. And coincidences are not just coincidences, I don't think. I think there's something deeper going on. And I think that we are more connected than we realize. And I think we'll continue to explore. I think science will continue to explore these things and come up with different reasons, but I'm not sure it'll ever be able to fully explain. Gloff says that'd be really dope, probably talking about trauma films. Good to know you're a nominalist, Ryan, says Gloff. Nominalism equals names are the only thing in common. Realism is the way. I'll look that up, Gloff. I love your depth in understanding all these categories of philosophy. That's an interesting category. Let me look into that. We could talk about that when we do our podcast. Dust to Dust says, yep. Griswold Grimm says all isms are a trap. Yes, and I agree with that. Absolutely. Everything's ultimately a trap that we're just using temporarily as a tool, but ultimately we'll have to discard to move to the next stage. Bruce says words are spells, use them wisely. Absolutely. I agree that words are important. Christ said, I am the word, so names are important partially. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not saying words aren't important. I'm just saying words are, okay, Michael says it best here. Words are a low-level representation of reality and thought, in my opinion. Anyway, I got to go and wage slave for the afternoon. Peace. See you, Michael. That's all I'm saying. They're just a lower level of representation. It's not that they're not important. It's just that they're a lower level of representation than the actual thing of itself. They are very important. Oh, Gloff says, I meant to say you're not a nominalist. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad I'm not a nominalist. I was equally as glad that I was a nominalist because I don't know what that means. although I probably should know what that means because I am in graduate school. But, I'm still as naive as ever in some ways. And as the more I learn, the more I don't fucking know. So I think that's a Socrates line, by the way. I don't know who said that, but it's a popular line. Kirk B says, there are no coincidences, just connections. I agree. Griswold Grimm, and thank you, Kirk. That's a great thing to say on here. Griswold Grimm says, don't let the man get you down, Michael. Gloff says, aren't star a nominalist. Okay. I see what you're saying. You said, I read that already, but I actually have to look up nominalism. Nominalist. In metaphysics, nominalism is a view which denies the existence of universals and abstract objects, but affirms the existence of general or abstract terms and predicates. Oh yeah, I'm definitely not that. Okay. Potato says, neat masterpiece here. Thank you for the financial support. Wages. McLaurin says, my brother and I were talking about pessimism people. He's an inventor / entrepreneur. It seems like any of his ideas, 99% of people shut down by listing only the negatives. I'm like his only champion. Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that. That's really tough. Yeah, usually, a lot of times when people have a good idea or something they really care about, everyone just shits all over them. It's a tough world at times. So I'm really glad your brother at least has you, and keep encouraging him to go out and do something with his life that he wants to. That's a good brother. Gloff says, nominalism is the basis for all postmodernist shit we see today. The categories, sex, gender, breaking down. Yeah, it sounds like it from what I read. Definitely sounds like it. Bruce says, we perceive them as a coincidence. We only perceive things as a coincidence when they're actually synchronicities and connections. I agree with that. Kirk B says, the word coincidences is a good example of how defining a situation can mislead or misrepresent what can be happening by defining it that way. Yes. Yeah. That's actually really good. Y'all are smart. You're a smart crew. I'm really lucky to be talking to smart people. I could be talking to a bunch of people that aren't able to abstract these thoughts. And instead I'm talking to people who are philosophically intelligent. So I am very grateful for that. That's hugely cool. I'm a lucky guy. So thank you for sharing all these thoughts, everyone. Okay. Mercury's here. What's up, brother? Oh, Mercury, while I've got you, CHG Longstone, who I'm not sure if I'm going to make it later because I'm working on a final paper for school. But you're going to be talking with CHG Longstone today. And he wants to make sure if you have time to look over the stuff that I sent you, because that's what he wants to talk about for a topic. So, yeah. I just wanted to get that out there. And I'm really looking forward to you two talking. I have a feeling that you're going to hit it off. And CHG, I'm sorry if I don't make it today. It's just that even right now I should be writing a paper that's due. I've got 30 pages of research due soon. So, yeah, so I can't do much, to be honest, even though I scheduled it with you. So, but we at least have you and Mercury, so I don't feel too bad. Anyways, you say no worries. Thank you for being understanding. You guys are always understanding, even when I'm kind of flaking. Okay, Mercury says, I'll check it out before we talk. Dust said you should be getting on it. Yeah, I need to get to work. And I also need to go for a run today. So if I don't exercise, I go nuts. I'll go for like a 3 or 4 mile run. I'm wearing my exercise clothes right now. So y'all are awesome. This was fun. I can't believe they censored my True Detective commentary. If y'all are just joining, at the beginning of this video, we looked at some True Detective pessimism philosophy from Russ Cole. Great TV series. And I thought there were some important things to talk about. But apparently, YouTube doesn't like that. So, but what I'm thinking is, they might even do that thing where the stream doesn't even start until after those clips were done. Because sometimes YouTube just cuts part of your video. They drop the hammer. They're like, poof! So they might do that to me. But I hope not. I hope that at least the parts of the stream that I showed with those video clips and I'm commenting on them stay up. And I know for a fact that if I edited a video of commenting on those clips with just small little clips in between, I guarantee they wouldn't have said anything. So the algorithm for some reason picked up the Hangouts on air. But whatever. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to hop off. If you feel like it, smash the like button. If you don't feel like it, it's cool. I'm just glad you're here. Hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss anything, but I'm just glad you're here. Mercury and I are really grateful to have this audience, and this was a really fun stream. I had too much fun. I was only planning on coming on for like 15 minutes because I had to get back to work, but you guys are just too much fun. So Griswold says, thanks for sticking with it, Ryan. Grizz, you're an honor to talk to, and thank you for sticking with me and Mercury because you're just there for us. I love the support from all of y'all. McLaurin says, yeah, if I don't exercise outside, the day is not 100% for me. Okay. Potato says, I'm going to hit the like button reluctantly. Oh my gosh, you're amazing, Potato. Potato? This is a huge step in our relationship, Potato. Oh my goodness. All right, that's fantastic. All right, I love you all. Talk to you later.